A quick message before the episode gets underway. I'd just like to say how wonderful your business or event is. Our other listeners, of whom there are many, probably want to know about it too, right now at the start of the show. And isn't it great that you can use such a locally focused platform such as the RG10 Podcast to let people know about it? So why not advertise with us or sponsor an episode or series? Find out more at the end of the show. Welcome to the RG10 Podcast, brought to you by the people behind RG10 magazine. The aim is to bring you interviews, information and entertainment. In fact, anything interesting that's relevant to living around here. Here's a riddle for you. How do you cycle from Land's End to John O'Groats without ever leaving Twyford? Well, on a static bike, of course. I know, not much of a riddle, but it's a handy way to steer into the subject of this episode, which is about the Bia Cycling Hub in the centre of the village. They recently held an event called the Kilometre Collective, with dozens of riders taking it in turns over 24 hours to cycle the equivalent of one end of the country to the other. They were using the rather flash KICKR bike, a smart trainer that gives a real cycling experience. And if the marketing manager at KICKR is listening, I'd just like to say I admire your work greatly. And I have room for a KICKR bike in my spare bedroom if you've got one to give away. Just saying. Anyway, I attached the stabilisers to my rusting rally chopper to head down to the Bia Hub and find out more.
Okay, I'm Jenni Green. I'm the owner of the Bia Hub in Twyford and the Bia cycling brand.
So, Jenni, what is going on today? Tell me, what is this event all about?
So we have a 24-hour indoor cycling relay event, and basically we are riding together to collect kilometres. Basically, we're trying to do Land's End to John O'Groats in 24 hours. It can't be done on your own. The whole principle is that you have to do it as a collective, as a group, and that you can do it because you're doing it as a group. So we've had relays for 24 hours, an hour on each bike, and we've basically have ridden we've actually hit it already, we've hit the target, which is 1,916 kilometres from Land's End to John O'Groats on the National Cycle Network routes.
So as I speak to you, with an hour to go, you've actually gone past John O'Groats. You're somewhere in the North Sea at the moment.
We've turned around. We've done a U-turn. We're coming back.
That's a massive relief.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a bit cold on the North Sea, right?
I'm Caroline. I've just done an hour on the Bia Kilometre Collective.
And how tough was it on that bike?
Oh, I got on and I was right at the bottom of a steep hill. I had no idea how to change gears, so I was kind of in at the deep end.
Have you been on one of those bikes before?
Well, I do have a setup at home, but it's not as fancy as this.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm used to...
fancy, that kind of equates with hard, is that right?
Well, this was hard. This was a hard course. It was quite hilly, but it was a fun thing to do, and I could see on the screen where other people were, and it was nice as well because I was chatting to people around who I hadn't seen for a while, so the whole thing was really good. So much support. I can't believe people have been here all night.
No, amazing.
It was, I chose a civilised time at 10 o'clock.
And you ride with Bia normally? Tell me about that.
I am a member. I don't ride as often as I would like to because their big day is Friday mornings and I work full time, so occasionally I take a day off and treat myself to a ride and always have a great time.
Yeah, well, why is that? What's been the attraction, the joy of riding with Bia?
It's I think the people really make it. So made quite a lot of friends through the club. We have such lovely countryside around here, but I think a lot of it is riding together with a group of like-minded people is really fun, and always come home feeling like I've had a good morning out. Now, I don't know how you're going to answer this question because you are on static bikes here, but
have there been any particular highlights? Because normally when you go out for a ride, you might say, oh, the scenery was wonderful, or there was this crazy incident when a squirrel went in front of me. But has there been anything that you can pick out? Maybe falling asleep on your bike at 3 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing.
We obviously through the night, we knew we had a graveyard shift sort of from midnight to 5 in the morning, and I must say the collective has really pulled in and helped us through that. We've had major, roles of people coming in here. We've had dancing, we've had charades, we've had all sorts of games going on while girls are on the bike. So it's just been such a community building and spirit lifting exercise, pardon the pun, but it's not, as you say, being out in nature and all of those things, but it's in so many other ways just brought people together, and it's actually quite emotional when you see people's reactions to what we've done and what we've raised and how we've hit the target. So that to us is what it's all about, is bringing that community together, really.
But no one's fallen off or slept on the bike?
No one's fallen off, no one's fallen asleep on the bike, nothing exciting like that.
I won't lie to you, that's what I was hoping for. Collective spirit is all very well, but someone falling off the bike, let's face it, that's what we all want to see. Anyway, tell me a bit about this place. How long have you been here now? What were the hopes when you came here? What have you achieved so far, would you say?
Wow. Sure. I created the Bia brand in, I think, 2016, centered around women and helping women find themselves and their strength within themselves. So Bia is actually the Greek goddess of strength and force. And it's all about helping women find their inner strength by bringing themselves together, putting them into groups and helping them get stronger through each other. And I kind of have built this ecosystem, and this was formed as part of that ecosystem. I looked for the building for about 2.5 years, for the location, for the right building and all of those things. And I found it, and I signed the lease in February in 2020, and as you know, in March we went into lockdown. So we kind of had to carry on and go full steam ahead. We have majorly adjusted the business plan and how we were thinking and how we would adapt to what the environmental factors were. And that's pretty much what we've done. But we're a workshop, we're a bike shop, we're a cafe, which has obviously grown through lockdown hugely. Obviously indoor training was a big part of what we wanted to do, but through lockdown and isolation we couldn't do that. So, it's kind of been an evolving thing. But the community that we've created in that time has been really, really eye-opening. I think we've got a women's club of over 130 members, now opening up to men as well. So, it's not to be exclusive, it's more to just put a focus on an emphasis on women and breaking down some barriers to bicycling for a lot of women.
My name is Lee Goodwin, and I'm riding 24 hours for charity. I've been doing 1 hour on, 1 hour off, so it's my 13th hour.
Yeah, we're into the last hour now. How's it going, Lee?
It's had its ups and downs. No, it's been good for the majority of it. The morning was a bit rough, but hey, it's the last hour, what can we say, right?
Are the endorphins starting to kick in now, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. The endorphins and the gel, right? We're winning.
And so how the last 24 hours been so far? Not just for you, but for everybody. How would you sum them up for me?
Yeah, I mean, we've had an incredible atmosphere. It's the first time we've done it, and the people that have come around to support have just been phenomenal. It's been tough at times, but we've had bikes full of people the whole way through. So, yeah, it's been amazing, in all honesty. It's been really, really cool.
Now we're at the Bia Hub in Twyford at the moment. You are, and you originated from, if you like, Velo Life over in Warren Row. How long have you been there now? And also, in that time, what kind of change have you noticed in the popularity of cycling in this area and maybe in the UK in general? Because you can give us an outsider's perspective, if you like.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been there going on 7 years. And it's actually changed quite a lot, in all honesty. Lockdown was amazing for the sale of bicycles. And it's taken a little bit of a dip because some of those just did it through lockdown, but cycling just keeps growing, whether it be on e-bikes as a mode of transport or recreational. It just keeps growing, which is wonderful.
And people who keep their eyes open as they go around have probably seen your distinctively coloured clothing as well. What, pear green did you say?
Beer green.
Beer green, as in BIA green, not beer, and not alcohol green. So you're very distinctive, but also there have been developments in the last 12 months as well. You've joined forces with Velo Life. Why did you do that? What are the advantages of doing that?
You know, the cafe was meant to be a small part of an ecosystem of a bigger picture for me, and obviously the way lockdown unfolded, it became a very big part of the business. I was never a restaurateur or, I love coffee and I know what good coffee is, but I was never my sort of, classic training or passion really. And I sort of did it and I grew it to a nice size, but it was really consuming a lot of my time. As with only one section of the business, and the rest of the business needed, my attention through that. So I'm good friends with Lee, who owns Velo Life, and we sort of very casually over a conversation here one day said, hey, why don't you do this? This is what you do, not what I do. And so the collaboration seemed a natural fit. So it just kind of happened organically in the end. I need to go.
You say you need to go, you're just about to go on the bike.
I need to get on the bike.
Okay, tell you what, well, I'm going to bring... We were in the middle of a wonderful story there. Basically, it's all turned out wonderfully,
yes.
But you've now got to get on the bike and finish.
Away
you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that interview ended rather abruptly, but to be quite frank, Jenni has got far more important things to be getting on with. She's got the last hour of this amazing Kilometre collective that's currently going on in Twyford. There are still ways to give to the charities that they're supporting. Just look at the show notes on this episode of the RG10 Podcast. Thanks so much for listening to the RG10 Podcast. We're now into the 4th year of the show and have built up a growing number of listeners and viewers. Yes, you can watch the podcast on YouTube and see clips on social media too. And if you sponsor or advertise with us, you'll be speaking directly to local and engaged potential customers, just like I am to you. Finally, if you've got any thoughts about who or what we can include in future episodes, then please do let us know via the rg10mag.com website or on any of our various social media channels. Thanks for listening.